everybody. Welcome to the Chevy pregame show on Fox. Chevy, an American Revolution. It was a fantastic day of football. Interesting scores from around the league. And now we get set tonight for what should be a fun evening of baseball from Dodger Stadium. The Manny Ramirez fans are here in full force. And the man himself getting ready to go on what is an absolutely gorgeous night for baseball. You look at the other side of the field. There's Chase Utley. He grew up a Dodger fan, a hero in Game 1 for the Phillies. One of the heroes in Game 2, Shane Victorino. Phillies up 2-0. We get ready for this matchup of Kuroda and Moyer. Game 3 coming up, but right now we go to Jeannie, Kevin, and Mark in our studio.
And we welcome you to Mannywood. I'm Jeannie Velasco along with Kevin Kennedy, former manager of the Red Sox and Rangers. Mark Grace, of course, of Cubs and Diamondbacks fame. It could be the Dodgers have the Phillies right where they want them, in L.A., where the Phillies couldn't squeak out one win this season.
No, not at all. And the young guys for the Dodgers can relax now. They're not going to have anybody calling them names or throwing anything. They're back in L.A. There's beach balls. There's tofu. They can relax and join Manny in a hitting parade.
All right, Manny, always something special, but maybe a little bit more so tonight, Kevin?
Absolutely right. I mean, Jamie Moyer is an off-speed guy pitching tonight. Manny lifetime against Jamie Moyer has 10 home runs and 53 at-bats. He's hitting .340 overall. Of course, that was the days when Manny was in Boston facing Jamie when he was with Seattle and those great lineups in Boston. Not so tonight because you got a young guy hitting behind Manny Ramirez, and that's Russ Martin, and he stepped up in the divisionals. He's got to step up tonight. I can't imagine Jamie Moyer allowing Manny Ramirez to take him deep tonight, but Manny will expand his zone when he needs to, and he can hit out of anywhere.
All right, Mark, we have some great hitters in this NLCS. Ryan Howard has been negated. Manny continues to be unbelievable. How is this possible?
Well, it's because Manny is the best hitter in baseball right now, and there's 3 ways to get hitters out. You get them out in and out, up and down, fast and slow. Manny has the ability to hit every one of those areas, folks. Up and in with a fastball, he'll hit it out of the ballpark. Absolutely. He'll pull it down and away with something off speed. He'll drive it the other way out of the ballpark or in the gap. This guy is the best hitter in the game right now, and he's one of about 5 guys that I've ever seen that can cover all those holes.
All right, Myers, a tough act to follow on the mound tonight. Starters, Jamie Moyer, Hiroki Kuroda. Can we expect the same heroics with the bats?
Absolutely not. But Jamie Moyer has been around a long time, and he knows if he has to win with his bat, he's in trouble. So he knows. But the interesting thing is he hasn't faced the Los Angeles Dodgers at all this year. He did face them once last year in a lineup without Manny Ramirez. They scored 10 runs off of Jamie Moyer. They should be comfortable in the box tonight.
And the Phillies are a great fastball hitting team, and if you've got some off-speed stuff, you better throw it not just to Ryan Howard and Chase Utley. You better throw it to Ruiz. Victorino's a great fastball hitter. It's what I call pitch sequence. Better pitch sequence with Kuroda because he throws 93 to 95. He's got a 2-seamer. He's got a slider. He's got a forkball. And what they call in Japan a shuto. That's a reverse slider that goes up and into away to lefties and up and into righties. He will mix it up, and they've got to mix it up better, like I said, and call a better game than what they did with Chad Billingsley the other night. They went away from good pitches, and Chad had a good curveball the other night, and they went away from it. Kuroda, whatever he establishes early, he's got to stay with that. Now, the other night in the divisionals against the Cubs, 11 of the first 11 outs were all on the ground. The sinker was really working well.
Manny called this a must-win. I mean, clearly they're not eliminated tonight if they lose. Is this a must-win for you?
No, without a doubt, it's a must-win. You fall behind 3-zip, you might as well take it on home. The Phillies have everything to win tonight. The Dodgers, this is absolutely must-win. They don't win this one, might as well just shut her home.
And we've watched the Dodgers lineup just pressing so much. You talked about the youth on the road. Right. All right, change tonight, going with...
Well, you got Nomar at first base.
Nomar,
and it's strictly on matchups. Joe Torre looked at the matchups. Nomar's faced Jamie Moyer a lot when he was in the American League as well. And guess what? He's hitting .417 lifetime against Jamie Moyer. So he hits behind Russ Martin tonight in the 5 spot. James Loney gets a break. And, he'll come off the bench later for defense should the Dodgers get a lead. But that's a nice move. Casey Blake also moves up in the lineup behind Nomar.
Are we going to hear music in the clubhouse tonight, a Dodger victory?
I think on paper, this just oozes Dodger victory today because of...
Before the NLCS, as you saw it mapped out, this looked like something that could be a win for the Dodgers, you're
Absolutely. Moyer was the one guy that the Brewers beat in the NLDS, and I think Moyer is good. It's a bad matchup
I
for him.
think the Dodgers win it tonight. I can't imagine them losing 3 in a row to the Phillies. It's a great ball club, but remember, home field advantage. since they've played each other. Everybody wins at home.
Yeah, the Keys shut down the bottom of that lineup, right?
Well, right.
The Phillies lineup on fire in the bottom half.
And the Phillies have not won in Dodger Stadium all season long.
Let's watch that bullpen tonight as well, the Phillies bullpen.
6 shutout innings for the bullpen, the #1 bullpen in the National League. They've been terrific again.
All right, we're going to leave you with that nugget because it's time for us to head west for Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. Are you ready for it? Before we leave, we remind you October baseball has delivered everything you've wished for and then some. Game 2 of the NLCS, did you see this? No exception. 7 home runs combined between the Rays and the Red Sox, tying a playoff record. But it was a sac fly by B.J. Upton in the 11th that won the game for the Rays 9-8. Series tied 1-1. Will Rays fans continue to see moments from the Cinderella season they've always wished for? Soon going to find out. Brought to you by Traverse, the all-new crossover from Chevy. It is everything you've ever wished for and then some. NLCS coming your way next on Fox.
A live look at downtown Los Angeles. The famous Hollywood sign. We must be nearby at Dodger Stadium. All the stars are out, including the great Tiger Woods. And inside, we prepare for game number 3 of this National League Championship Series between the Phillies and the Dodgers. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Chris Myers, and Kenny Rosenthal. All coming up. You think about this season series between the Phillies and the Dodgers. The home team has won every game when these two have met. And so now here we are in Los Angeles. The Dodgers are at home. And Tim McCarver, they need a win here tonight. And really this overall feeling shouldn't be too much different than what they experienced the entire second half when they were chasing down the Arizona Diamondbacks.
A lot of people in and around the Dodgers think that the most important date of the year was August 30th. They were 4.5 games behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. They were facing a tough right-hander, Dan Herron. They not only won that game, but they won 8 in a row. And a lot of people are comparing tonight's game with that game, having to win tonight behind Kuroda.
On the other side, you've got a Philadelphia club up 2-0, and yet the question could be asked, how are they doing it? Because they're really not getting much at all out of their leadoff guy and out of their big bopper in the middle.
If you had told Phillies fans it would be up from a Phillies standpoint, 2-0 with Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard 1 for 17, leaving 12 men on base, they would not have believed it.
We are at Dodger Stadium. This is the 50th anniversary of the Dodgers coming out west. And LA at home. The Dodgers celebrate those 50 years here this season. You take a look at some of the young Dodgers, who with a little help from some guys who have some postseason success in other places, they'll try to make the golden anniversary a memorable one. It's Game 3 next on Fox. Tonight's game on Fox, sponsored by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect, only on the Now Network. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Lincoln, introducing the all-new 2009 Lincoln MKS. Lincoln Reach Higher. And by McDonald's. Right to the Philadelphia starting lineup for this Game 3, brought to you by Geico. Danny and Rob from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay, I'm Danny DeVito.
I'm Rob McElhenney.
Hey, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Starting lineup for the
Jimmy
Philadelphia
Rollins,
Phillies.
shortstop.
Batting second, Shane Victorino,
center field. Chase Utley, second base.
Batting cleanup, Ryan Howard at first base.
Pat Burrell, left field.
Batting sixth is Jason Worth at right field.
Yeah, right field. Pedro Fuzley.
Pedro Feliz.
Okay, it's spelled
Third
backwards. Well, I'm a Dodger fan.
Carlo Ruiz, and catching.
The starting pitcher, Jamie Moyer, no problem.
Let's go, Phil.
Keep looking at the camera.
Excedrin, anyone? Boy, we are in LA. Or just have a beer. This is brought to you, the first pitch when it does come, by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. The weather is absolutely perfect. 70 degrees. Field is in great condition as it always is. And Hiroki Kuroda, who's been very good against the Phillies this season and was outstanding in the clincher Game 3 against the Cubs in the division series, is on the mound. Here is his sprint pitcher profile.
Handled the Phillies very well. Think about that now. In 2 starts, the Phillies have averaged 2 hits a start. That's not a lot. 2-seam fastball, the sinker in double play situations, a slider to strike right-handers out with, and he loves to pitch here, as do all of the Dodger pitchers. In fact, the Dodger starters with the lowest earned run average at home in the major leagues.
Who's backing him up? The defense is brought to you by Geico. Really no changes except for one major one, and that's at first. Ramirez in left, Kemp and Ethier in center and right, then Blake for Cal. Blake DeWitt and Nomar Garciaparra gets the start at first base instead of Loney. The catcher is Martin, and as we mentioned, Kuroda is in the middle of all the action. So the Philadelphia Phillies up 2-0, still waiting to get consistent production out of Jimmy Rollins, who hit .277. The reigning NL MVP, 11 home runs, stole 47 bases during the regular season. They'll try and get it going for Philadelphia.
In Game 2, Jimmy Rollins struck out 4 times for the first time in his life in any game. First time ever.
He takes a strike. And an electric crowd here at Dodger Stadium. It's not the way it always has been since the Dodgers starting playing here in '62. Strike 2. Played at the Coliseum, moved here in 1962 to one of the prettiest venues in all of sports. And they'll be packed in here by the end of the night. And they've been staying through the end of the night at these games as Rollins hits one weakly to second. 1 out. So now 1 for 10 in this series is Jimmy Rollins, and here are the 4 keys to the game.
Joe, you talked about the venue here, so beautiful, and that is certainly the case. For the Phillies, change of venue, the same winning menu, maybe. For the Dodgers, they remember August 30th when they beat Dan Herron. That was the most important game of the year for LA.
Number 2 hitter is Shane Victorino. Breaking ball in for a strike. That's what Victorino has done during this NLCS, and overall so far this postseason he has driven home 9. Gets under it. On the infield for Kyle, gives it a look. 2 out. So Victorino is gone, and Chase Utley will bat with 2 out, and the base is empty. There's Charlie Manuel, who has been through a lot since learning of the passing of his mother prior to Game 2. In Game 1, it was Chase Utley tying the game 2-2 with a 6th inning 2-run shot off Derek Lowe, who will get the ball here tomorrow night on short rest in Game 4 against Joe Blanton. When you talk to the Dodgers and the teammates of Hiroki Kuroda, they'll tell you you will know early whether Kuroda has his good stuff. Good running 93-mile-an-hour fastball, strike 1.
6 straight strikes from Kuroda.
1-0 in 2 starts against the Phillies this season. Just 2 runs allowed in 13 innings pitched. A little extra juice tonight. And you looked at me out of the corner of your eye. That's the Tim McCarver look at me that I know that pitch caught your attention and may have caught the attention of the Phillies.
It did. There was a lot of talk about Chad Billingsley not protecting his player. when Manny Ramirez was knocked down and then had a ball thrown behind him by Brett Myers. Myers said it slipped. But I wonder if this is a little wake-up call for the Dodger pitching staff.
2 balls and a strike. And now 3-1 with Ryan Howard on deck. Our own Ken Rosenthal was digging around during the off day and then prior to tonight's game, and we'll hear from him if Chase Utley keeps this inning alive about the mindset of these Dodgers and some of the hitters as Utley draws a 2-out walk. What'd you learn, Ken?
Well, Joe, many of the Dodgers were very upset that Billingsley failed to retaliate after Brett Myers threw behind Manny in Game 2. The guy who might have been the most upset was Manny himself. This was the second time that Billingsley failed to respond to an opposing pitcher throwing at Ramirez. It also happened on August 10th when Matt Cain hit Ramirez in the batting helmet.
I thought of all that's been said since, the quote by Manny Ramirez in the paper today was the most revealing. As Ryan Howard waits for the first from Kuroda. And he takes a strike. For Manny Ramirez, his quote, "I want to have a guy like that," meaning Brett Myers, on my team. That tells you all you need to know about his feelings after having that one buzz behind his back by that man, Brett Myers. One on, 2 out. Ryan Howard trying to pop one for Philly, and that one takes off. Go back to August 10th, and here's Matt Cain of the San Francisco Giants off the helmet of Manny Ramirez. And as Ken Rosenthal just reported and reminded Dodger fans, there was no retaliation for that. Here comes a 1-1. Good pitch in on the hands by Kuroda, and now Ryan Howard in the hole, 1-2.
Howard, hitless in the series, continues to struggle. A bevy of breaking balls, and even the fastball inside he does not get around on.
Just in case. Utley, the runner at first, stole 14, was caught twice during the regular season, has not stolen a base this postseason. Phillies have stolen 5, none in this series. Just missed. It's 2-2.
Just outside with a backdoor slider. Milt Thompson, the hitting instructor of the Phillies, says that Howard has to use left field. He's got to hit more balls to left. That closes the shoulder. We'll see.
Runner goes. Throw by Martin. Inning over.
What a play by DeWitt.
It was actually for Kyle, who dug it out of the dirt, got the tag down. No score after a half in LA.
Hey Joe, hey Tim, it is great to be a part of your team tonight. Give you the Dodgers lineup. Batting first tonight, it's Rafael Furcal playing shortstop. Batting second, Andre Ethier in right field. Batting third, it's Manny, the home run hitter himself, of course, in left field. Up fourth, it's Russell Martin catching. And number 5 tonight, starting at first base, it's Nomar Garciaparra. Batting sixth is Casey Blake at third base. And we have Matt Kemp, 7th tonight in center field. Batting 8th, it is Blake DeWitt, second base. And batting 9th, our starting pitcher, Hiroki Kuroda. Go Dodgers. Phillies, watch out. You're in our town tonight.
Great job, Mary Hart, and thank you. That was brought to you by Geico, and the first pitch from Jamie Moyer who is an incredible story as he pitches here in 2008. A 16-game winner during the regular season. It was low for a ball. And now a strike to Furcal with Ethier and Manny Ramirez to follow. And the same numbers for Furcal, just 1 for 9 in this NLCS. Both leadoff hitters struggling, and Furcal's on to start the night.
Only the second hit of the LCS for Furcal, and the Dodgers have what they want. Leadoff runner on.
It brings in Ethier, who's 3 for 8 in this NLCS. And since the 1st of July has the 3rd best average across the National League at .330. In front of Manny Ramirez. Jam shot gets through. Furcal will turn but hold. 2 on, nobody out.
Three pitches, 2 hits. Now the man is coming to the plate.
And that man is 18 for 53 in his career against Jamie Moyer with 10 home runs against this Philly left-hander. Another hit. Here comes Furcal. The throw by Burrell. Too late. The other runners advance. 1-0 LA.
You've got to go to second base with the ball. Or just throw the ball to third base. Keep the runners at first and second with nobody out. Pat Burrell coming home. No way you're going to get Rafael Furcal in a situation like this. And by the high throw, that allows runners to advance to second and third for the Dodgers instead of first and second with nobody out. Poor decision by Burrell.
Second and third after Manny took second on the throw that got away at the plate. Here is Russell Martin, ball 1. It's an RBI single. For Ramirez, took second on the throw, and a strike from Moyer. Joe Torre managed the Cardinals back in 1991, and he cut Jamie Moyer after an 0-5 start. And the career started to blossom after that for this left-hander. Strike 2.
One of 4 times Jamie Moyer has been released.
The 45-year-old left-hander about to turn 46. The 1-2. Still 1-2. He's the oldest active player in the big leagues. It's his 22nd major league season, his 246 wins. Been released 4 times and 2 times a 20-game winner, but that was after all the times he was cut when he was with the Seattle Mariners. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And Martin is hit to load him up.
Hitters kid about that, saying that if they get hit, they wouldn't mind being hit by an 84-mile-an-hour fastball. That hurts good to load him up.
Already a visit from pitching coach Rich Doobie. With the bases loaded, a run home, nobody out in the inning for the Dodgers, who desperately needed to get out on top here tonight in Game 3. They've done just that and could make it a huge first inning. The sprint pitcher profile for Jamie Moyer.
Well, you forget the radar gun. He rarely goes above 84 miles an hour. It's right to go right. And Nomar Garciaparra, not only a first ball hitter, but he goes to right field often against Moyer. He's had very, very good luck against him in his career. And Charlie Manuel telling us that Moyer more patient than the hitters. Now's the time for patience.
A strike into Nomar, who's 1 for 2 in this series. That came in Game 2. Eight home runs during the regular season. Ball and a strike. Down the left field line, Garciaparra hooks it foul. Strike 2. Moyer did not tire down the stretch. In fact, he was 9-1 with an ERA of 3.28 his final 16 regular season starts. The 45-year-old lost to the Brewers in the division series 4-1. Only went 4 innings in Game 3. In trouble here. Two and 2. On the outside corner, 1 away, and a big strikeout for Jamie Moyer.
I'll say it was a big strikeout. 5 pitches to Moyer. The first pitch from Moyer to Garciaparra, 1-1 with the changeup, the foul ball. He misses inside, and then the vintage changeup on the outside corner.
The reaction from Brett Myers. Now it's Casey Blake. Strike 1. Delayed call by home plate umpire Mike Everett. Blake in his career is only 2 for 17 against Jamie Moyer, but he got the start. Sure, Blake thought it was low. It looked a little low, but it was called strike 1. Strike 2. It's been the bottom part of the lineup that has really hurt the Dodgers in this series. The 6 through 9 hitters are a combined 2 for 29. With just 2 RBIs and 9 strikeouts, Blake has been a big part of that. He is one of the 2 hits. To right. 1 run scores. Ramirez is held at third as Worth walks it back in.
May remember the scouting report we said for the right-handed batters, it was right to go to right. This is how every Dodger wants to approach Jamie Moyer. Good hitting by Blake.
Well, if you're the Dodgers and you're down 2-0, you've got to make this a big inning here to start Game 3 and to start this section of this series in Los Angeles. Now it's up to Matt Kemp. 2-0 Dodgers on top. Kemp 1 for 7 in this series. Ball 1. Hit .369 against left-handed pitching during the regular season, but overall he's just 4 for his last 28. High and tight, 2-0, and Clay Condrey, a right-hander, already getting loose for Philadelphia in their bullpen. What a spot here for Kemp. Bases loaded, 1 out, up 2-0 in the count. And now 3-0.
See if Joe Torre gives Kemp the 3-0 hit sign.
Looked like he was taken all the way. It's 3-1. Now full count. The defense brought to you by Geico. The Phillies defensively with Victorino highlighted in center. Phillies is at third because of Moyer's left-handed presence on the mound. Figures to get more action. He's the better defensive third baseman. There's Victorino at big center field here at Dodger Stadium. 3-2 to Kemp. Got him on the inside corner.
That pitch once again only 84 miles an hour. Not many major league pitchers have the courage to come inside with a pitch thrown that slowly. But right-handed batters look so much on the outside part of the plate that they're vulnerable right there. A perfect pitch from Moyer.
So Jamie Moyer now can keep this a 2-run inning as he deals with the rookie Blake DeWitt. And he starts him with a strike. I think that's a good word that you just used for Jamie Moyer. Courage. You have to have it with his kind of stuff. He challenged Kemp, and Kemp goes down looking at strike 3. DeWitt is fooled, and now Moyer is one good pitch away from getting out of this. One ball, 2 strikes. Two and 2 as DeWitt would not go after it.
Could be a lot worse if not for these 2 pitches. The changeup to Garciaparra gets him on the outside part, and the fastball to get Kemp on the inside corner.
After an 0-2 start in this at bat, DeWitt has had the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded, 2 out. Down the right field line. This ball, big trouble, and it stays in play. 3 runs are going to score. The rookie delivers. It's 5-zip.
It looked like a high changeup or a breaking ball from Jamie Moyer. What a huge hit for Blake DeWitt. Ramirez scores easily. Martin and Blake follow. Huge inning for the Dodgers.
Now a chopper to third off the bat of Kuroda. The inning is over. An enormous inning for the Dodgers, down 2-0. They come up with 5 in the first. Good start for LA. Kuroda now has a 5-0 lead as he goes to work here in the second. 10 seasons in Japan's Central League with Hiroshima. On the right, you've got Jamie Moyer, who just got through the first, an ugly first inning, a guy who originally came to the big league level with the Cubs back in 1986. He and Greg Maddux, who's in the Dodger bullpen or dugout, wherever he is right now, maybe in the clubhouse listening to us. They're the only two left in the big leagues from 1986 as far as active players. And Ryan Howard, who was at the plate when Utley was thrown out stealing in the top of the first, takes a ball. Howard, then Burrell, then Worth. Breaking ball in for a strike. It's 1-1. Ripped into right, and Ryan Howard trying to get in on the fun for Philadelphia. Going to dig for second. Pretty good play by Ethier, but a double all the way. So the Phillies come right back after Kuroda. And if you're just joining postseason baseball and don't know much about Ryan Howard, look at these numbers the last 3 seasons. 153 total home runs. He leads the big leagues. Look how far out in front of Alex Rodriguez he is in that category. Same for the RBIs with his total of 431. A-Rod number 2 in that category, and then the bad, the 576 total strikeouts. So you get a lot of good. You get some swinging and missing, and he's on at second with nobody out to start the second. Here's Burrell, and there's strike 1.
Ryan Howard set a major league record last year with 199 strikeouts. It was eclipsed this year by Mark Reynolds of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He struck out 204 times this year.
Good block by Martin. Pat Burrell in his postseason career is a 143 hitter with runners in scoring position. He does have a very important swing of the bat that came in game 1, and that 3-run 6th inning against Derek Lowe hit the go-ahead home run. And then the outstanding bullpen for the Phillies took care of the rest. Leadoff double by Howard. The 1-1 to Burrell. Ball 2.
Yeah, Joe, the bullpen worked by both teams. Stalwart. Neither bullpen has allowed a run in the first 2 games.
Which is saying a lot considering how long the Dodger bullpen had to work in game 2, and Billingsley lasted only 2 1/3. Too wide, ball 3, and Kuroda is working his way into trouble. His career in Japan before the Dodgers signed him to a 3-year deal, an overall record of 103 and 89, a good ERA. And he becomes the 7th Japanese pitcher now in Dodgers history. Well hit into right. Did he get enough? Back is Ramirez on the track. And out in left field, Manny Ramirez hauls it in, 1 out.
You could hear by the sound of that ball hit by Burrell. He hit it down toward the end of the bat. Did not make contact on the sweep part.
One on, 1 out. And Jason Worth, who was a part of this Dodger organization for 3 years. And is 1 for 8 in this NLCS. Takes the ball, and Martin's been busy. During the season this year here at Dodger Stadium, the Dodgers drew 3.7 million fans through the turnstiles. That's the third highest total in franchise history, and this whole outfit came alive when they added Manny Ramirez at the trading deadline.
When that happened, they were anything but blue.
1 ball, no strikes, runner at second, 1 out. Strike 1. Pedro Phillies on deck. By the way, that attendance total this year was the second highest in the National League, second to the Mets. In their final year at Shea Stadium, they outdrew the Dodgers. But lost to the Phillies in the NL East as Worth hits one in the air to right center field. Kemp pulls it in. Howard tags, goes to third with 2 out. Here's Pedro Feliz. It's no small thing to take third base now with 2 out. Tim, you know better than I, but there used to be even more room behind home plate here at Dodger Stadium, and any ball that got past a catcher, whether it was Socha or Yeager, I mean, they had to run a mile back there to pick the ball up, and anybody could score from third. They've tightened that up with those extra seats they've put in. The Kuroda's bounced a couple already, and there's another blocked by Russell Martin. Ball 1 to Feliz.
Generally speaking, when a pitcher has a 3 or more run lead early in the game, one of the rules of thumb is you don't want to fall behind. You don't want to pitch from behind. It's understandable in a tie game or when you're 1 or 2 runs ahead. But when you're 5 runs ahead, the walks are out of the question.
Even at 1.
Kuroda had never pitched in a postseason game until this year. None in his 10-year career in Japan.
Feliz puts the Phillies on the board with a base hit into left. It's 5-1. As Ryan Howard, who started the inning with a double, scores, and Feliz gets his second RBI of this postseason.
That looked like a slider that backed up and stayed inside. Feliz is a very good inside hitter. Some guys like the ball down. Other guys like the ball up. Some like it away from them when they can extend their arms. Feliz, an inside hitter.
Here's Ruiz. One of the hitting stars for the Phillies in game 2. Off balance, pops it up. Easy for Kemp to his left, and the inning is over. Leadoff double by Ryan Howard. First hit of this series. He scores. It's 5-1 after an inning and a half. Tonight's game on Fox, sponsored by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. Dodgers batted around in the first inning, so they send the top of the order against Jamie Moyer here in the second. For Kyle Ethier and Manny Ramirez up 5-1 now after the 2-out RBI hit by Pedro Feliz. For Kyle in the air to left center field, at the track, at the wall. The Dodgers get the run back.
Dodgers fans have another chance to explode. I think this is the last hitter for Jamie Moyer.
Here's a little floater into center. Here comes Victorino. Nice catch. Running grab by Shane Victorino for out number 1. They are still working out in that Philadelphia bullpen, and with Manny Ramirez coming up, Charlie Manuel just told Ruiz to get up and go out and talk to Jamie Moyer. I think you could be right.
I think regardless of the situation, whether it's an out or a runner on base, I don't think he could take any more chances. I think Condry's got to be in the ballgame, and he warmed up quite a bit in the bottom of the first inning, so just a few pitches. I think he's all right.
So from the stall tactic, that's it. Charlie Manuel has seen enough. An inning and a third. 6 runs on 6 hits. And this crowd will love it when the starter for the Phillies is bounced here in the second. Clay Condry's coming in. Dodgers again lead by 5. There are the numbers for Jamie Moyer in the 32 pitches. Get him only an inning and a third here tonight in game 3. Manny Ramirez will deal with Clay Condry and a ball outside. This is exactly what the Dodgers needed here tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that game on August 30th where they had to beat the Arizona Diamondbacks trailing by 4.5 going in. They beat Dan Herron. They won 8 in a row in the Western Division in the National League.
Yep, it was an 8-game losing streak followed by an 8-game winning streak, and Manny Ramirez, the guy at the plate, was right in the middle of all of it. He went 1 ball 1 strike. There are the numbers for the regular season for Condry. He is the long right-handed reliever. Short relief for this Philadelphia team is as good as it gets anywhere in the big leagues. And it's of course anchored by Brad Lidge. The 1-1 is high, and because of that good bullpen, when this Philly team is up leading after 8, they're 84-0. So they have not had any 9th inning heartbreak this year when they've taken a lead into the 9th, and J.A. Happ, a left-hander, gets loose. And that just tells you all you need to know about what Charlie Manuel thinks of Manny Ramirez. Base is empty, 1 out. His starter Moyer just got an out, but Manny Ramirez is coming up, and he wants to bring a right-hander in to pitch to him. And here early, only the 2nd inning, he's got another reliever getting ready. So this will be a long night for that Philadelphia bullpen. If you don't know the schedule of games, we're back at it tomorrow night and then a break in the action with an off day on Tuesday if this series extends past 4.
That's why Charlie Manuel and Joe Torre can use their bullpens tonight and tomorrow because of that off day on Tuesday.
Full count on Ramirez, and he takes a 1-out walk. On base twice tonight. Condry comes out of the bullpen and walks the first man he faces and will deal with Russell Martin. Martin, his first time up, was hit by a pitch to load the bases. You're just tuning in. The Dodgers right out of the gate came up with 5 runs in the first. Wow. There's another one from a Philly pitcher, high and tight to a Dodger hitter.
High and tight to a Dodger hitter who was hit his first time up on a 1-2 fastball from Jamie Moyer. That is all part of the game. There's an oversensitivity in baseball about any balls that are inside from hitters, whatever, as far as retaliation are concerned. It's all part of the game, pitching inside. The Dodgers retaliate, that's also part of the game.
I would be shocked if the Dodgers don't retaliate tonight. They're leading 6-1. And look at that reaction by Russell Martin. He is ticked.
He's got something to do with it. He's the catcher.
For Kyle, the leadoff man, has been in the middle of a lot of the action. Dodgers up 6-1. You wonder if a translator was needed to tell Kuroda to buzz or hit one of these Philly hitters and get a little payback, because looking at the body language, Tim, of Russell Martin, first of all, he's upset that he got hit earlier, buzzed, and then he grounds into a double play.
That really, doubly made him mad.
But these Dodger hitters, Tim, even with what they're saying in the newspaper, they're very open about being tired of not getting payback on their behalf.
Yeah, but you do not want to hit a hitter with a 5-run lead in the 3rd inning in a game that you got to have. You can buzz him. You can buzz him, but you don't want to hit him.
So we'll see how Kuroda plays it. There's Rick Honeycutt, pitching coach for the Dodgers.
That's exactly what Larry Bow is talking about right now. You've got to choose your spot. You've got to be ahead. You can't do it 3-1. And you can't really be thinking about it. If it's 0-2, 1-2, then you earn the respect of your hitters if you do it. But you do not want to put a guy on base to prove a point. What's the point? Trying to win.
To the shortstop for call. Dodgers had Jenkins play perfectly. 1 out, back to the top of the lineup. Jimmy Rollins will step in. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by WebMD. Better information, better health. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by Holiday Inn. The more you stay, the more you earn. Strike 1 to Rollins. Tim, do you think something should happen on behalf of the Dodgers?
Well, as I said, I don't think he should hit anybody. You've got a 5-run lead. This is way inside, I'll tell you that. Russell Martin was almost set up behind Jimmy Rollins.
Good tailing action to that fastball. Came back for a strike.
Now's the time to do it. You see the fastball inside. As I said, an 0-2 or 1-2 pitch, that's fine to prove a point, but you don't want to hit him in the process.
Still 0-2. We actually talked to Joe Torre about this very topic, and he said he went back to something that you and he had discussed in the past with regard to Bob Gibson. As that one skips in there, ball 1. I know your former battery mate gets upset when everybody always says, oh, he was a guy who just drilled hitters and was knocking everybody down left and right. But he said he worked inside, but for the most part, he pitched away.
He was a pitcher who stayed away from the hitters.
On the inside corner, strikeout number 1 for Kuroda. Here is why Russell Martin is frustrated. Forget what's happened the first 2 games. He gets hit. Now that was a ball that came from Jamie Moya breaking in off his left knee. Then that pitch followed by him running into the double play. And I mean, he's going 100 miles an hour. Ooh. Here's Victorino. And there's one
warning
behind the back of Victorino, who didn't like it because it was up around his head.
Victorino said, throw at my ribs, that's fine. Throw at my head, that's not fine. So a warning has been issued. Don't throw at my head. That's what he said, telling Russell Martin. Throw at my ribs, that's fine. Not my head.
So he knew it was coming. Something was coming, and he said, okay, we'll take it.
Yep.
But not up here.
Yeah, that's right. So Kuroda has earned the respect of Manny Ramirez and his teammates. And the home plate umpire properly issued the warning. And now one would assume order has been restored.
Chase Utley comes out to calm Victorino down a little bit, and Russell Martin goes out to calm down Kuroda.
You know, actually, that's one of the safest places to throw anybody, about a foot over their head. The worst place is right behind their head where they duck into the ball.
Strike one.
How descriptive was Victorino there?
It was great. He stated his case.
Yep.
And he continues to Kuroda. We got action at Dodger Stadium. The benches now come out. So hold on now. The bench is empty. Nothing's going on yet, but Manny Ramirez is in the front of the pack. And that's obviously the last thing the Dodgers need, is for Ramirez to get mixed up in something and either A, get kicked out, B, get injured, or C, have some suspension.
I was thinking the same thing. Dodger players taking their meal ticket to the dugout.
See Victorino say, just not in my head. Hit me in the ribs, not in the head. Order is restored. Mariano Duncan has been in the middle of it.
I think it's Mariano Duncan and Davey Lopes.
Yeah.
The ex-Dodger.
Lopes was part of the first pitch ceremony here tonight.
Yeah.
Honoring that great infield here with the Dodgers through the 70s into 81.
That ups the ante, Joe.
Ooh. These two sides are hot. Dodgers lead 6-1. Well, here is the umpiring crew that's in charge of trying to keep sanity and restore the order here as we're in the third inning. Mike Everett is the home plate umpire. Mike Riley, who's down the left field line, is the crew chief, and Jay Happ takes over. And the home plate umpire, Mike Everett, came up to him and said, hey, we got a warning, so be aware, as Nomar Garciaparra greets Happ with a base hit into center. That's it for Happ. He was voted the minor league system's best pitcher for the Phillies, and he is right in the middle of this mess in the third inning with his team down 6-1, and a leadoff hit by Garciaparra.
Joe Torre quite candid before the game, saying that the difference between now and 35, 40 years ago in throwing at guys, that the umpires become involved, and the umpires have certainly become involved from a common sense standpoint with the warnings issued.
Here's Victorino, who calls off Jimmy Rollins. 1 on, 1 out. Let's go down to Chris Myers.
Joe, after the incident, Joe Torre calmly sat down here in the dugout, calmed his team down. Russell Martin, with his chest puffed out, said, all right, you guys, let's go. Let's get back on the game. Some of the other Dodger players were saying, you know, we took care of that. Let's just focus on the pitcher here and get this game taken care of.
All right, Chris, thank you. And with all the talk with regard to Brett Myers in game 2 and him throwing behind Manny Ramirez in Manny's first at bat, a lot of conversation and a lot of members of this Dodger roster talking to different writers. Bill Plaschke had a column about it today in the LA Times, so it's out there. It's been circulating, and then it happened again when one was up and into Russell Martin, and finally for the Dodgers, they went back at the Philadelphia Phillies with Kuroda doing it to Victorino. High above the head, but as you said, Tim, some of the respect is back now.
That's right.
For the Dodgers. So really this could not have gone any better for the Dodgers.
That's right.
They have a lead. They've had some payback. They've shown some life here. And the warning came after their pitcher got a shot in at the Phillies as Kemp gets a base hit to right, 2 on 1 out. All of this with the Dodgers starting tonight trailing 2-0, needing tonight's game to have a pulse and jump back in it with their top pitcher starting tomorrow night in Derek Lowe.
You make your point without allowing a Phillies base runner to get on in making your point.
Here's Blake DeWitt, who has the biggest swing of the night. Back in the first inning, 2 runs were home, but Moyer got 2 quick strikes on the rookie DeWitt. Made the count even after laying off some pitches down and away, and then hit a 3-run triple into the right field corner to make it 5-0. That was a big swing of the bat as Moyer almost survived the inning without major damage being done. That was Blake's first hit of this NLCS. Happ misses upstairs with a fastball, ball 2. How about in this series with runners in scoring position coming in to tonight's game? Tonight 3 out of 6 with 5 RBIs. That is strike 2 on DeWitt. Fastball gets DeWitt looking, 2 out. And the pitcher Kuroda coming up. 24 fans have been waiting almost a year for the return of television's most addictive drama. Tune in November 23rd to see 24 Redemption, the exciting 2-hour prequel to Day 7 featuring the all-new Hyundai Genesis. 24 Redemption on November 23rd.
Harvest Moon, perhaps?
I'll take your word for it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful night. Nice and cool now at the park. 6:30 here in the West. Kuroda grounded out his first time, had 8 hits during the regular season. 0 for 4 so far in the postseason, batting with 2 on, 2 out. And in the hole 0-2. Jay Happ has come out of the bullpen, the 25-year-old about to turn 26. Giving up 2 hits and now is a pitch away from getting out of this, keeping it a 5-run game before Utley, Howard, and Burrell bat in the 4th. Once the warnings are given, some pitchers automatically steer away from the inside part of the plate.
It's easier to hit. You're right.
They get a little timid about going in there in case one gets away, and then the next thing you know, they're ejected.
Well, that's where the home plate umpire again has to use common sense, and these guys are the best in the business, and they'll do that.
Kuroda stays alive, 2-2. Inning over. Happ has back-to-back strikeouts, and we go to the fourth. Heart of the order. First up, Chase Utley. Phillies trying to climb back in it, down by 5. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Turbo HD by Dish Network. By the new Hyundai Genesis. It all starts with this. And by BlackBerry. Fourth inning now. Kuroda's been very good, and he will work to the heart of the Philadelphia lineup. Chase Utley first in, and he rips it. What a pick by Nomar. 1 out. Former shortstop, third base, and he can still pick it. It's a bad hop, too.
In between hop, the only other guy who can make that play in the ballpark is a guy that Nomar replaced, James Loney, future Gold Glover. That's a fine play right there.
So 1 pitch, 1 out, and Ryan Howard, who doubled and scored his first time up, will dig his way in. So now 1 for 9. Chase Utley and Ryan Howard during the regular season combined for 81 home runs. They came into tonight's action this postseason hitting 154 combined with 1 home run and 5 RBIs. And yet here are the Phillies 2 wins away from getting back to the World Series for the first time since 1993. That's the second baseman, DeWitt. Hit it right into the shifted defense. Howard is 1 for 2. Base is empty for Burrell, and we look ahead to tomorrow and the postseason action for Major League Baseball. TBS will have game number 3 with a series tied 1 game apiece between the Rays and the Red Sox from Fenway at 4 Eastern. Then we'll be along after that here on Fox with the Phillies and Dodgers in a matchup of Derek Lowe and Joe Blanton. Lowe lost game 1. Blanton was a winner in the clincher game 4 of the division series. Here's Burrell, takes a strike. So Chip, Ron, and Buck, the crew from TBS, are in Boston, I'm sure, kicking back watching this, and we've been able to provide a little entertainment with what's happened so far as a breaking ball that just missed. 2-1. Jason Worth on deck. Did you, sir, stay up last night for all 5 hours and 27 minutes of the 11-inning game?
I fell asleep in the bottom of the 7th, woke up in the bottom of the 8th, and finished viewing till the end.
What was it that woke you up between the bottom of the 7th and the bottom of the 8th?
The game woke me up and kept me up.
2-2. (6-1) after 3.5. Fonz is here. Henry Winkler, John Lovitz. They are mixed in all over the place, watching what is a good game. 6-1, the home team on top, bottom of the 4th, top of the lineup for the Dodgers. Percala singled and scored, and then went after the first pitch for Moyer in the 2nd and drove it out of here. Tiger Woods is here. Happ. Pretty good pitch. Called inside. 1-2. Ethier and Manny Ramirez, the next 2 hitters. In the dirt. Rich Doobie is the pitching coach for Philadelphia. Done a terrific job with this staff. Little pop up right side. Utley puts it away, and we had a chance to visit with Rich Doobie last half inning. Well, Rich, I know it's been active down there in the dugout. How are you guys keeping things together down there, and what was wrong with Jamie Moyer tonight?
Well, we're keeping together fine. We know there's a lot of baseball left, and we like our offense, and we think we can get right back in this thing. As far as Jamie, they came out pretty aggressive to him, and he made some mistakes, and the big hit, of course, was DeWitt with the slider up in the strike zone.
With both teams having been warned already, do you have to stay on a pitcher to, I don't want to say force, but remind a pitcher that you still have to work inside the hitters, especially a young guy like Happ?
Oh, absolutely, and that's, I mean, we'll pitch inside, and I think they got upset at our place over a couple of pitches to Martin and to Manny, and I mean, you've got to be able to pitch inside, and our guys have done it very effectively, and they took a little offense to it, but we'll still continue to go in there, and I think it's what made us effective.
Rich, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
Okay. He is in the dugout watching Happ. He pitched a scoreless third, gets a leadoff man here, and now finds a strike to Ethier. It's 1-2.
Joe, you talked about Bob Gibson the last inning. Bob used to say, you make them think you're coming in and go away, and that's what makes that outside part of the plate that much more fertile.
In the air to center, and Victorino has time to get to it. 2 out. And now Manny Ramirez will step in. He is perfect at the plate, and they will let him hear it. Had a little discussion there with Carlos Ruiz as he stepped in. Didn't look all that pleasant or friendly. Pitch up and away, ball 1. One ball, no strikes from Happ. Now 2-0.
Some of the old timers talk about fraternizing before the game. How players are very chummy. Used to be a fine. Nobody did that 25 years ago. You knock more hitters down and there won't be as much fraternizing.
Manny Ramirez got into it with Yadier Molina of the Cardinals in the 2004 World Series, and that bad blood has continued to this day. The 3-1 from Happ. A 4-pitch walk, and Ramirez on base for the 3rd time tonight. Halftime of the Sunday night football game, if you're just joining us. San Diego, I'm told, out in front of New England 17-3. We're at Dodger Stadium. It's game 3. We've had plenty of action. If you haven't been with us at all, 5-run first inning for the Dodgers, down 2-0. Each side got a run in the second. We've had another hitter buzzed for the Dodgers. This man, Russell Martin, after he was hit back in the first, and then the Dodgers and Hiroki Kuroda paid back the Phillies with a pitch up above the head of Shane Victorino. That happened in the 3rd. Both benches were warned. Both benches emptied. No punches were thrown. That was the payback pitch, and Victorino said, you can hit me in the ribs, but not up around the head. And then as we were going to break, you see Manny Ramirez in the middle of that. Mariano Duncan, the first base coach, but nothing really came of it. And a long time and beloved Dodger Davey Lopes was yelling, it appeared, in the direction of Mariano Duncan. 3-0 now on Russell Martin, as the Dodgers would like to turn this into more damage for the scoreboard. Garciaparra waits on deck.
Well, number one, if any major league hitter thinks he can go to home plate and not have anybody come inside and not be brushed or knocked down, is foolish. Those are pipe dreams.
We just heard from Rich Doobie about that's the Phillies' philosophy, and it would be the philosophy of any successful pitching staff to work the inside part of the plate and at times off the inside part of the plate, and that has been evident here in this series with the Dodgers.
Yeah, as Rich said, that's part of the reason that his pitchers have been successful, and they will continue doing that as, realistically, what the Dodgers pitchers should do. Part of the game.
We'll have a chance to visit with Joe Torre here during the break. So that meeting is over. We ask you to join Major League Baseball in its efforts to help victims of the devastation caused by Hurricane Ike by donating to the Gulf Coast Ike Relief Fund. Log on to ghcf.org or MLB.com to help those in need. Together we can make a difference. Here's Garciaparra, 2 on, 2 out. Strike one. Walks with 2 out to Ramirez and Russell Martin. Chance for Garciaparra, who's 1 for 2 to get something done. And he does with a base hit into left. Manny Ramirez coming home. Throw by Burrell is cut off. A run scores, and Martin is tagged out to end the inning. Dodgers trade an out for a run. They make it 7-1 as we go to the 5th. LA getting exactly what they need since the start of the night. Back after this from your local Fox station. It is a 6-run game. The Dodgers have their biggest lead of the night, 7-1, as we go into the 5th inning. I'm Joe Buck. That's Tim McCarver. And we've had some action. If people are just tuning in from halftime of the football game, we've had kind of a football type atmosphere here tonight.
Yeah, Joe. The Dodgers have a 6-run lead, and they've not only proved the point to win the game, a game that they had to win, but Kuroda has proved the point by making his point against Shane Victorino and the Phillies.
And what shouldn't be lost, Kuroda's done a lot more than just throw one over the head of Shane Victorino. He's pitched an outstanding game.
Good point. Yeah. Only 1 hit, that by Pedro Feliz, since the Howard double to open the 2nd inning.
We had a chance to visit with Joe Torre during the last break. And we'll give that to you after Jason Worth does something to start this 5th. What does he do to start the 5th? He strikes out. We asked Joe Torre first question about how excited he was to see how his team came out fighting tonight.
Well, no question, Joe. You have the off day, which we felt we needed, I think. But, until this first pitch starts or the first pitch is thrown, you don't know the personality. But these guys are ready to play.
And Kuroda proved the point, right, Joe?
Yeah, I think so. We played the game. We know how the game pretty much polices itself, and I just like the fact that we were on the balls of our feet tonight instead of our heels.
And the one thing that has happened since then is that your team has not gone to sleep. It seems like they're still coming after the Phillies and not willing to let the scoreboard sit.
Well, hopefully we only have to hit 8 times tonight, but every single inning is important because this ball club is very explosive. They can put runs on the board quickly.
You have Derek Lowe going tomorrow night. You're bringing him back on short rest.
Yeah, with the extra off day after games 4 and 5, I think it allows you to use one guy on 3-day and then the other 2 guys on regular rest. So it's too tempting to ignore, I think.
Thanks for your time, Joe.
Okay, guys.
Meanwhile, after the strikeout of Worth, Kuroda has Pedro Feliz set up at a ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. Boy, it's been a painful night for Russell Martin behind the plate.
Usually is if his pitching staff is effective. You think about all of those pitchers. Everybody's got to keep the ball down for the most part if you're a pitcher and you're going to be effective. But Derek Lowe, a sinker baller. Chad Billingsley, when he's effective, keeps the ball down, and certainly Kuroda. Fastball away here.
From the hole for Cowell. We're in the better arm on any shortstop in baseball, 2 out. The Dodgers prior to the game announced their staff to the crowd here as they lined up along the third baseline, and two of the members who were announced could be overlooked. They're not active for the Dodgers during this postseason, but they are very important nonetheless as Ruiz takes a strike. Tanyon Sturtz, former Yankee, been a part of this team during the year. He has been kept around and really has helped out a lot of the guys in the bullpen for the Dodgers. And Mark Sweeney, who was predominantly a pinch hitter during the season. They're kind of like Heckle and Jekyll patrolling the clubhouse and trying to keep this team loose and help police it for Joe Torre. It's a valuable tandem that they have, and while they haven't done anything on the field, there's Mark Sweeney. Tanyon Sturtz is up in the clubhouse watching the game as he does every night. They have certainly played a role for Joe Torre on this Dodger club.
Joe Torre saying that one of the toughest things about making the postseason roster was not including Mark Sweeney.
Tanyon Sturtz, a guy who learned how to work out of the bullpen by learning from the best, Mariano Rivera. As Ruiz flies to right, Ethier. What a job by Hiroki Kuroda. A look at downtown LA on a beautiful night. 7-1, Dodgers out in front. Along with our producer Pete Macheska, our director Bill Webb, Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Chris Myers, Ken Rosenthal. This video is put together by Judy Wong and Mike Carr, and we're back at it in the bottom of the fifth. Dodgers batting, leading 7-1. Casey Blake had an important hit in that 5-run first for the Dodgers. With a backhand, Pedro Feliz brought Ryan Howard right into the path of Casey Blake. No collision, 1 out. Here's our Verizon Wireless game summary. Big first inning. Most important swing, 2-out, 3-run triple by DeWitt. Furcal went deep in the second. And then fireworks as Kuroda threw one over the head of Shane Victorino. Both benches empty. Kuroda has been outstanding. Manny Ramirez was hot when the two teams came out onto the field. But no punches thrown, order restored, and it's been a pretty good job by Jay Happ getting through these Dodgers, picking up some outs and trying to eat some innings for that bullpen as that pitch is low, 2-0 on Kemp. Two and one. The wave makes its way around Dodger Stadium. I've seen the wave in a while.
Dodgers hopeful that it's a tidal wave.
Fouled away, 2-2.
It's reminiscent of the Dodgers losing the first two games in the World Series in 1981 to the New York Yankees. And they came back to win 3 here. Won the World Championship.
2-2 pitch to Kemp. Broken bat, ground ball, base hit up the middle. Kemp's 2 for 3. And he's on with 1 out in the bottom of the fifth. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevy Traverse. It's everything you've ever wished for, and then some. 1 on, 1 out for Blake DeWitt.
Joe, I can't help but think about, with everything that's happened tonight, the knockdown pitches and Kuroda throwing one over the head of Victorino and Russell Martin being knocked down. I can't help but think of Don Drysdale watching from above. Don Drysdale, the leader in the National League of hit batsmen with 154, the Hall of Famer. I had a chance to work with the Winder for about 5 years. We were doing Monday Night Baseball, and if Don could if he were only alive to see this today. I mean, the way the game is played and the way the umpires are involved. In his day, he would handle it himself.
That breaking ball stays inside. But certainly a gentleman off the field.
Oh, sweetheart.
A really talented announcer as well.
You better believe it. Married to Annie Myers, and Annie, I know you're listening, and it is a pleasure to mention your husband with the respect that he was held for this club for 14 years as an active player, and as you said, Joe, as a broadcaster.
Working for years with the great Vince Scully, who is a couple of booths away. 59 consecutive years for Vince Scully at the microphone for the Dodgers, back to their days in Brooklyn. This is the 50th anniversary, 51st season. There's Vin. Rick Monday in front of him. Charlie Steiner working with Rick Monday. And the great Vince Scully, who looks terrific, and for somebody my age, that's the television voice of baseball to me.
Yeah, boy.
Here's the career of Vince Scully. There's a 59th season. Mike for the Dodgers, a Hall of Famer back in 1982, and has his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. One on, one out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Kemp left a little early, and he's out. Caught stealing 1-3-6 with Jimmy Rollins taking the throw from Ryan Howard.
And a very nice tag by Rollins. Howard going toward the pitcher, so he has that lane in which to throw. Tell you, Kemp slid off the bag. Initially, he looked to be safe. But by sliding off the bag, Rollins figured, well, he got the out call. I think he was safe initially, then the feet came off the bag, and Rollins didn't have to apply the late tag.
Broken bat for DeWitt. Rollins makes the play. We go to the 6th inning. Phillies will bat, trailing by 6. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Get sports clips, scores, stats, and more right on your Verizon Wireless phone. Play in the 6th inning now, in case you're wondering, for the Phillies. Their biggest comeback this year was a 7-run comeback on August 26th against the Mets. That bullpen, which was the undoing of the New York Mets in 2008, trailed 7-zip in the 4th, won it 8-7 in 13 innings. Jamie Moyer started that game. 7-1 game here, and so Taguchi pinch hitting for Happ grounds out. So number 99 grounds out. Number 99 is out and left. Manny Ramirez. Here comes number 11, Jimmy Rollins, who is 1 for 11 in this NLCS. I know the Phillies lead 2-0 coming into this series. Scott Air gets loose for Philadelphia in their bullpen. But at some point, if they're going to beat the Dodgers, Rollins has got to start getting on base, and Ryan Howard's got to figure out what he's doing at the plate.
That's why these are confidence at bats for Rollins, Howard.
In the air to center, Kemp. 2 out.
A game that, even though the Phillies may be trailing by 6 runs, you try to straighten out your swing. But thus far, Rollins and Howard have struggled.
How about that reaction for Shane Victorino? He didn't do anything wrong.
No.
He just happened to be the guy.
Yeah.
He's had an emotional few days as well, learning after the game, after game 2, that his grandmother had passed away. And at last report, the funeral arrangements had not all been set, hoping to be able to get back to Hawaii to be there for the services. Very prideful is the state of Hawaii. For Shane Victorino.
Only one IFB in my league.
And they continue to update his progress. October 3rd in the Honolulu Advertiser. And there's the story about his emotional day, Game 2, learning that his grandmother had passed away as he takes inside 2-2. A good guy who just bounces around with a smile on his face and is settled into the center field spot in the number 2 position in Charlie Manuel's lineup. Out in front of it, Blake DeWitt. How about Kuroda? How about 6 innings? 1 run on 2 hits in a game the Dodgers need. They lead it by 6. Scott Air was a nice August addition to this good Philadelphia bullpen. He takes over for Happ and hits the inside corner to Hiroki Kuroda. Ken Rosenthal, FoxSports.com. Give us more on Hiroki Kuroda.
Joe, the Dodgers did not offer Kuroda the most money when they signed him for that 3-year, $35 million contract. The Royals actually were the high bidder. That's right, the Kansas City Royals, followed by the Mariners. But Kuroda wanted to be in Los Angeles. That's where he thought his family would be most comfortable. He had 3- and 4-year offers, but he preferred 3. Conceivably, he could go back to Japan in 2011.
I don't know if the Dodgers, based on the way he's pitched here down the stretch, will let him go anywhere. I mean, he's been outstanding. He won Game 3 of the division series. And he has been 5-2 in his last 12 starts. ERA of 2.34 coming in. So dominant. And giving the Dodgers what they needed here tonight. 2 hops to Utley. 1 out. Kuroda's 0 for 3, swinging the bat. This replay sequence is brought to you by BlackBerry. BlackBerry on your game. Go ahead. Who's your favorite celebrity? We pick Ryan Seacrest, not only because he's at Fox, but because he's on his BlackBerry. He's been on it the whole night. Somebody tell him what the score is. We kid. Starting to sound like Myers. We kid because we care. Ground ball to the left of Phillies. Good play, 2 out.
That's a terrific play. Almost catching that ball behind him, going to his left, and that strong arm.
And here comes Andre Ethier. That's why he's in the game with the glove work from the third base position. How about that glove work?
Spinning wheels.
Ethier tonight 1 for 3. 4 for 11 in this NLCS. 2 out, nobody on. And the ball outside. On the corner, a ball and a strike. We could rip by Ethier, strike 2. Since baseball went to a best-of-7 LCS format in 1985, teams that are up 2-0 are 16-3. 3 teams to come back. Cardinals, Toronto was up. They lost to Kansas City in '85. Cardinals did that to the Dodgers in '85. Here's one into left. Well hit, but Burrow back to get it. And then you know what happened with the Red Sox and the Yankees in the ALCS in 2004.
So does Joe Torre.
Yeah, he does. A look at Santa Monica Pier as we take a break. Back after this from your local Fox station. Only 76 pitches on the night for Kuroda. And he's in the 7th, leading by 6. Part of the order for the Phillies, trying to just get something going here tonight. Their only RBI, a 2-out RBI hit by Pedro Feliz in the 2nd. That made it 5-1. The Dodgers got that run right back on a home run by Rafael Furcal leading off the 2nd, and then added one in the 4th. Two 2-0. There's Chad Durbin getting loose. Jamie Moyer, the starter, went only an inning and a third. And the Dodgers took advantage of a favorable pitching matchup here in Game 3. And tomorrow night, the 4th starter for the Phillies, Joe Blanton, will take on the lead man for the Dodgers, Derek Lowe. Utley down the left field line. It's a fair ball into the corner. So Chase Utley will dig for second. Ramirez gets it back in. It's a leadoff double.
Utley going to left field, and any left-handed batter who hits the ball effectively to left field has his shoulder again in the proper spot, and that's what Milt Thompson has been preaching to Ryan Howard. Don't be afraid to get jammed, because all good hitters get jammed. And Howard thus far in these 2.5 games has been swinging like he's afraid to get jammed. Can't do that and be successful.
Charlie Manuel, his manager, said Howard just looks jumpy. He jumps on that pitch, lines it into right for a hit. Utley went back towards second, now ends up at third. It's runners at the corners, nobody out, and maybe the Phillies can get it going here in the 7th.
Another slider in front of Ethier, and Chase Utley cannot take any chances, down by 6.
That'll bring Rick Honeycutt out of the dugout to talk to Kuroda. And to go back to what you said earlier, Tim, these are confidence at bats at the very least. Now, Phillies obviously could get right back in the game and do some damage against Kuroda or the Dodger bullpen, but the Phillies would love to see Corey Wade gets loose, Ryan Howard get his swing going.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Utley get his swing going. Jimmy Rollins with a game coming tomorrow night. Say the same for Pat Burrell, who's 0 for 2 tonight, 3 for 9 in this NLCS. Tomorrow night we're on the air at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox. Game 4, Derek Lowe against Joe Blanton. Blanton won the division series Game 4 at Milwaukee to propel the Phillies into the NLCS. Game 1 of this series, Derek Lowe got into the 6th inning and then got roughed up. Breaking ball in for a strike. We have yet to see the Dodgers closer, Jonathan Broxton, who can hit the radar gun in triple digits when he's all pumped up. One ball, one strike.
Jonathan putting all 290 pounds behind his fastballs. Hard and heavy.
At least 290.
Yeah.
So Corey Wade is getting loose for the Dodgers in their pen. Burrell with one swing could bring the Phillies right back into this game number 3. And a little floater, shallow center. Another hit for the Phillies. In to score is Utley. Holding at second is Howard, and it's 7-2 and still nobody out.
Joe Torre and Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, seeing Derek Lowe in Game 1 pitch so well into the 6th inning, and then the explosion by the Phillies to score 3 runs on 2 home runs. And now they've seen something similar to Kuroda, and Torrey is going to make a move.
That's it. Corey Wade is coming in before a crowd of 56,800 people, the largest crowd in the history of Dodger Stadium. Joe Torre will take the ball from Kuroda, and he will be saluted by these fans. .84 pitches for Kuroda, gets into the 7th inning. He's responsible for the 2 runners on. 2 runs on 5 hits. Home plate umpire Mike Everett. Sounds of the game.
Corey, you got warnings, all right? Got warnings. Just to let you know, all right? Okay, thanks.
Home plate umpire Mike Everett, who's wearing a microphone for us, and we thank him for that, has warned every pitcher that's come into the game just to remind them. Here's a big at bat for Philadelphia, and it's Jason Worth, the former Dodger. 2 on, nobody out. And Wade starts him with a strike. How about Corey Wade, who started this season at Double-A? And he has fit right into the primary setup role for the Dodgers. Did that down the stretch. That is a cue shot. That's a foul ball. Strike 2.
That was an odd swing from Jason Worth. Corey Wade, by the way, is not a hard thrower. Relies on control. Little slider. Worth has seen 2 of them. Little cue shot, just rolling foul. And Jason Worth appeared to have broken his bat.
Hong-Chi Kuo, the hard-throwing left-hander, is getting loose. And so Worth has to go get another bat and then do some work on it. Make-A-Wish Foundation, part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, grants 13,000 wishes a year to children with life-threatening medical conditions. You can help make wishes come true by visiting wish.org. So the count is 0-2, and long enough they could have made another bat for Jason Worth.
Go to work on the lathe.
Now he digs his way back in. Wow. This is a 4 corners defense here. Now he steps out. And the home plate umpire makes Wade move the rosin bag back behind the mound. It's Dodger blue. Ball 1. He went around, says the home plate umpire, 1 out.
And impatient, Jason Worth goes down on strikes. That's a big strikeout, because if Worth gets on, perhaps Greg Dobbs would have been the pinch hitter for Phillies, but that's the reason Kuo is warming for the Dodgers also. Chess match here in the 7th inning.
I'm with you, though. I started to look down in the dugout to see if Dobbs had a bat. You could certainly make the move if you're Charlie Manuel, and if nothing else, you get Wade out of the game.
Yeah.
But it's Phillies, who Dobbs does have the helmet on and leaning on his bat. Manuel sticks with Phillies, who's 1 for 2 tonight. Hit 14 home runs during the regular season. Drove home 58. In the hole, 0-2.
That's what's frustrating for the Phillies about Pedro Felice's offense. Takes too many pitches to 2 strikes.
just got a piece. These were the top two bullpens with regard to ERA during the regular season. The Phillies were the best. The Dodgers were second. So whether it's Wade on the mound now or that left-hander who was slowed in September by a sore elbow, he can bring it, leading to Broxton. To Joe Torre. 0-2 pitch. The season started, the Dodgers had Takashi Saito as their closer. Broxton was setting up. Saito is not on the active roster for this NLCS. His elbow bothered him during the month of July, came back and really lost his command. Could be available if the Dodgers go to the World Series. Ball one. Chad Durbin still throwing, so getting ready to take over in the bottom of the seventh. Phillies have scored a run. They trail by 5, 2 on, 1 out. And Phillies steps out. And there's Dobbs. Dobbs is on deck, and that's the number 8 spot next. So barring a double play, he may bat for Ruiz. And then Chris Coast, the backup catcher, would make his NLCS debut. That's foul, just foul.
He'd like that one back. That was a hanger right there. That breaking ball just stayed inside to Phillies. We mentioned earlier that he was an inside hitter. And Wade and the Dodgers got away with one there.
Just missed. 2-2. Where did this one miss? Just a hair low as Russell Martin tried to pull it back in. Low according to Fox Tracks. But a good pitch. That's out of play.
The Phillies have come back this year when they were down by as many as 7 runs on August 26th. Once again, they were playing the Mets, down 7-0. They won that game in 13 innings.
Trailed by 6 at the start of this inning, and a chance to really take a bite out of this Dodger lead. Center field. Phillies got under it. Now Kemp's under it. That's out number 2. Wow, what an arm by Kemp.
16 assists from Matt Kemp. Even though he was deep, unleashed one.
That's as good a center field arm as you'll see anywhere.
Just see him look at first base just to make sure the runner at first wasn't tagging. He uncorked that one like Troy Aikman.
The outfield assists. This guy has got a cannon. As Tim said, he tied for the lead in the league with 16 assists. And there's the strength right there. Pretty good tag by DeWitt. So now it's runners at the corners, 2 out for Dobbs.
I'm a bit surprised that Quo's not in the ball game right now to pitch to Dobbs. Dobbs, a .315 hitter against right-handed pitching, led the majors in pinch hits this year with 22.
I would imagine one of the reasons why is because of the situation the Phillies are in with their catcher. Coast is going to have to hit next.
Well, then you put the pitcher in the 8-hole and have Coast leading off. Right now, this is a situation where one hit is going to really hurt the Dodgers. If it's for extra bases.
Sure, then it's a big hit.
Yeah.
Coast is on deck. He'll have to come in the game and catch. Here's a 2-0. What a rip by Dobbs. All of his home runs, all 9 were against right-handed pitchers this season, and as Tim said, as the graphic showed, the best in the game at coming off the bench and getting hits. 22, a franchise record for Philadelphia during the season. Wade came on, struck out Worth. Phillies flying to center. Strike 2. Didn't go around, full count, and the runner at first, Burrell, will go with the next pitch. Back through the box for Cow. Does the rest. Kuroda will appreciate the relief work by Corey Wade. The Dodgers appreciate the start by Hiroki Kuroda. Not just the innings pitched and the outs and the lead, but what he did sticking up for his hitters. Chris Coast is doing the catching now. He bats in the number 9 spot. The pitcher will hit 8th. That's Chad Durbin. And this crowd serenades Manny Ramirez, who has a hit, 2 walks, 2 runs scored, an RBI. 9 out of 19 this postseason. Strike 1. It has really got to burn Red Sox fans to see Manny Ramirez doing what he's doing now for the Dodgers. Hit .299 when he was traded here to LA in that 3-team trade. Because of his behavior, certainly more than his stats, he became a Dodger. He forced Boston to trade him in essence, their cleanup hitter. The central figure in that lineup. A 1-2 punch with David Ortiz. And now the Red Sox are in a dogfight with the Rays to try to get back to the World Series and defend their title, while Manny Ramirez is trying to guide the Dodgers into the Fall Classic. And he's doing all he can in this Dodger blue. Still 2-2. That said, Jason Bay has had a great postseason for the Boston Red Sox.
Had a great 2 months for them also.
Really did.
Yeah.
Fly ball into right. Easy for Worth. If anybody wants to disagree with the notion that the Dodgers got a guy who had worn out his welcome with the Boston Red Sox, it was not just management, but a lot of the players had grown tired of all that went with Manny being Manny. And if there's any confusion about that fact, realize that the Red Sox are paying every cent of Manny Ramirez's contract and his money as now Durbin hits Martin. And Durbin is going to stay in the game, and that'll get the Dodgers' attention that Martin's hit again.
Yeah, I think that was a changeup.
So got away from Durbin. It doesn't look good for a breaking ball. Yeah.
Breaking ball. I knew it was something off speed. Breaking ball hits Russell Martin, and there's the grip right there.
That's a good job by home plate umpire Mike Everett.
Absolutely. You talk about alert. You knew it was a breaking ball, and breaking balls are not designed to hit players. So much ado about nothing.
Now James Loney will bat for Garciaparra.
You're right, Joe. If you're a Boston Red Sox fan, you don't like to see what Ramirez is doing for the Dodgers, but you're not surprised by what he's doing. As Terry Francona has told me since the trade, he said, that's why we paid Manny $20 million. We knew he could hit. It was the other stuff.
James Loney, who started the night on the bench. Nomar Garciaparra made the start. That paid off. Garciaparra 2 out of 3 with a pair of singles and an RBI. Nomar has fought through a rash of injuries as Martin takes off and will have to come back on a foul by James Loney. Our WebMD injury report focuses on the left knee of Nomar Garciaparra, one of the few issues that Garciaparra had to deal with during the season to try and stay active for this Dodgers team. For more information on injuries affecting your team, visit WebMD.com. Loney strikes out for the second out of the inning, and now Casey Blake will walk in with 1 on, 2 out here in the 7th. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. By new Gillette High Performance Shampoo. Take charge of your hair. And by Chevy, an American Revolution.
Joe, you brought up an interesting point about the Red Sox paying all of Ramirez's salary. And how interesting would that be, and maybe unprecedented, if the Dodgers can win 4 of the next 5 and they play the Red Sox in the World Series. The Red Sox will be paying the $18 million that they owe Ramirez and trying to beat a team to be world champion.
All the while holding their breath with every at bat. Oh goodness, the throw by Coast almost drilled Durbin in the head. Coast threw off his knees and almost took out his pitcher. And Coast is going to go out and say something to Durbin. That was close.
Chad, I did not mean it. From his knees, Durbin ducking. Pitchers are trained to get down and get down in a hurry. That is a design play on the hop, but almost off his pitcher's coconut in the process.
So the stolen base from Martin. That is Martin's first steal of this postseason. He stole 18 during the regular season. And that is the first Dodger attempt of a stolen base here in the postseason as Blake fouls it away. Dodgers trying to get that run back as they lead by 5 here in the 7th. Bottom of the order has been better tonight. Games 1 and 2, a combined 2 for 29. The 6 through 9 spots tonight. 4 for 12 with 4 RBIs, and Blake has one of those RBIs. Blake DeWitt has the other 3.
Most important hit of the game for the Dodgers tonight. Blake DeWitt's bases loaded triple in the first inning.
Say again as a postscript to that Manny talk. A fresh start here with the Dodgers and the ability to loosen up that clubhouse. And as you said before game 1, basically throwing 24 other guys on his shoulder and carrying them to this point. The regular season and then past the Cubs and here into the series against the Phillies. Down 2 games to nothing. They had the right attitude obviously coming into this game as they jumped on Jamie Moyer for 5 runs in the first. So he's been everything the Dodgers could have hoped for as a walk extends this 7th. And it's 2 on with 2 out. And Matt Kemp coming up. Moyer's been in the dugout since he left back in the 2nd. His team trails by 5, and Kemp has had a nice night. 2 hits, 3 trips, strike 1. Inside, 1-1.
I guess for the duration of this series, you're going to get a crowd reaction anytime a pitcher comes inside. But it's very, very important for both staffs not to lose sight of the fact that you have to come inside to get guys out. And as we talked about a couple of innings ago, the umpires understand that. Almost always you can tell intent. Sometimes you can't, but most of the time you can.
And strike 3 called on Kemp. We go to the 8th inning here at Dodger Stadium. Phillies will come to the plate, trailing by 5. Corey Wade, who did such a good job getting out of the top of the 7th, stays in the game for the 8th, at least the beginning of it, and deals with Chris Coast, first at bat of this series. Loney stays in and plays first base. Angel Baroa takes over at second as Blake DeWitt, who had a big hit tonight, is finished. And here's Coast. Manny Ramirez, a good play to his right, and Coast is held to a leadoff single. Now Jimmy Rollins.
See if Joe Torre makes a move here to turn Rollins around to the right side. Also Shane Victorino. It does not appear that Joe is going to make that move, but Quo is ready in the bullpen. Certainly he'll be brought in to face Utley and Howard.
Now J.C. Romero gets loose. Yeah, these are key at bats for the Phillies if they want to have any chance of jumping back into this game. Rollins is going to have to get on Victorino and then bring up the heart of this lineup and see if somebody can pop one. But Jimmy Rollins is 1 for 12 against the Dodgers in this series.
And sometimes it's not the results, it's how you look going about those results. And Jimmy and Ryan Howard, of course Howard has a couple of hits tonight, but Jimmy Rollins has not looked good at the plate.
And he strikes out for the first out in the 8th. Shane Victorino will walk in, and he's been in the middle of a lot of the action so far in this series. Whether in the home whites or on the road and in his grays, he's been involved in the action. Tonight he's 0 for 3, but it was his second at bat. That'll be a focus leading into Game 4 tomorrow night. Casey Blake, 2 out. If you're just joining us in the 3rd inning after Russell Martin had been hit, Hiroki Kuroda throws high and above the head of Victorino. Eventually grounded out to first and said, "You can hit me in the ribs, don't throw at my head." And then the 2 benches emptied. Ramirez got down in the middle of it. They pulled him out of there. Mariano Duncan and Davey Lopes got into it, but nothing really happened after that. Both sides were warned. Ball 1 high to Utley. You have to believe this will be the last batter for Corey Wade if Utley gets on, with Ryan Howard on deck and Quo in the bullpen. That would be the move. Wade has been really good. 1 ball, 1 strike. For a guy who doesn't blow you away with velocity, he seems awfully seasoned for somebody who started the year at Double-A. You've got a good idea out there on the mound how to get these hitters out. Ball 2.
Reminds me a little of Bob Tewksbury, the right-hander who used to be with the Cardinals and the Minnesota Twins. Not a hard thrower, but a guy with similar stuff.
Now the big closer, Jonathan Broxton, joins Quo. The 2-1. 2-2. Just after 8 here in the West, 11 in the East. Blake DeWitt. 2-out, 3-run triple in the first. Furcal has had a nice night, including a home run, and Hiroki Kuroda got into the 7th, and he's in line for the win. As are the Dodgers, trying to get back in this series. Utley grounds to short. Furcal goes the long way, and the inning is over. 2 shutout innings by the rookie Corey Wade. We go to the bottom of the 8th at Dodger Stadium. LA up by 5. Tonight's game on Fox, sponsored by Sharp Aquos LCD TVs. Change your TV, change your life. By the entirely new Audi A4. Progress is beautiful. And by Bridgestone. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing. New pitcher is a left-hander, J.C. Romero for Philadelphia. And Angel Baroa, who on September 2nd here at Dodger Stadium had one of the more unique fielding efforts, will lead it off. Baroa's first at bat of this series, took over defensively for Blake DeWitt in the top of this 8th. And he grounds one foul. Here you go. September 2nd. Where'd the ball go? Shoved it into his shirt.
Running over there. That was hilarious. Houdini.
And our thanks to Aaron Stoikov, who year after year does such a good job putting those packages together. Looking back, and Larry Lancaster in our truck. They keep us honest in the booth. And with Baroa first up, he'll be followed by a pinch hitter, Kent, and then Furcal. Broxton will be excited just to get into the action. Ball 1 high from Romero. Aaron and Larry both got their names mentioned on national TV, so they've queued up another for you, which we'll bring to you after this first batter of the bottom of the 8th. Look at Mary Hart back there. She's still here. Sajak is still here. Every time we show somebody in the on deck circle, Pat Sajak is in the corner of the picture. The 1-2 to the left side. That's Phillies. That's out number 1. This is 1988, the last time there was an LCS game here at Dodger Stadium. 20 years ago today, the Mets and the Dodgers, game 7. And Orel Hershiser pitched a 5-hit shutout. The Dodgers won 6-0. And in 4 games in that series, the great, and I mean great, Orel Hershiser had a 1.09 ERA in 24 2/3 innings pitched. He pitched the Dodgers, working for ESPN Radio tonight. He pitched the Dodgers into the '88 World Series, took care of business in the World Series. That was the Kirk Gibson home run against Dennis Eckersley Fall Classic, and the Dodgers won.
3 starts and a save in the National League Championship Series. He saved game 4. Devastating home run by Mike Scioscia, who is now the manager of the Los Angeles Angels at Anaheim. Great manager, too. 2-run homer off Doc Gooden in the 9th inning to tie it. And then the Dodgers went on and won that game with a home run by Kirk Gibson in the 12th inning off Roger McDowell.
One ball, one strike on Kent. Strike 2. That World Series championship for the Dodgers, the last of 6 in franchise history. 55 when they were in Brooklyn, and out here in 58. They won it in 59, 63, 65, 81 over the Yankees as they got payback against New York, and then 88. Kent went around, and that's out number 2. And so we bring you back inside our booth.
Is that an on camera right there?
It would qualify. That's better. That's fine. And the other's fine. No big deal. Let's look ahead to tomorrow night. Derek Lowe on the mound. We talked about it before he made the start in game 1. He's a sinker ball style pitcher, and sometimes when those guys work on short rest, they're more effective.
His first start, he had 7 days rest, gave up the home run to Chase Utley, and then Pat Burrell with the solo shot as the Phillies won 3-2. But I think that is a point worth considering tomorrow night. 3 days rest for a sinker baller is a lot different than 3 days rest for a guy who relies on velocity to get guys out.
Meanwhile, Joe Blanton, the right-hander, will make the start. Phillies picked him up during the season. He went 4-0 in the regular season in 13 starts, 1-0 this postseason. The most important stat is the Phillies are 10-4 when he starts. And he won the clincher in the division series at Milwaukee. Helped out in that game by a big offensive afternoon from Pat Burrell. 3-0 pitch to Furcal. A 2-out walk. If the Dodgers hang on and win this game, it would mean that these two teams have faced each other during the season, regular and postseason, 11 times, and the home team has won every game. Here's Andre Ethier. Strike 1 to Ethier, who is 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored. He had a jam shot that went through the right side against Moyer on the first pitch he saw in the first and helped set up what was a big inning. 5 runs. Strike 2. That will hop foul. So still 0-2 in the 9th inning. Philadelphia will have the 4, 5, and 6 hitters Howard, Burrell, and Worth against Broxton. Tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Game 4 of this NLCS. That'll follow late afternoon baseball from Boston in Fenway Park, Game 3 of their series, with the Rays and Red Sox tied at a game apiece. On the outside corner, good pitch by Romero, who twisted his ankle coming off the mound, and he is really limping. There are the numbers for Jonathan Broxton. He is the closer for Joe Torre, and he can bring it. 99. Strike one to Ryan Howard. I mentioned the J.C. Romero, who's a big weapon for the Phillies out of their bullpen. Their best left-handed short reliever really rolled his left ankle on his way off the mound and limped getting to the dugout. He did it when he struck out Ethier, and not there, but this little hop, he rolled it. And his pitching coach Rich Doobie walked up to him, made sure he was okay. Howard chased one there, didn't get the fastball, got something else. The bottom fell out of it. 1-2. Joe Torre described Jonathan Broxton's 4-out save in the clinching game, Game 3 against the Cubs in the division series. Described Broxton as unhittable that night. He's got that kind of stuff. Can at times get a little wild. That's a fair ball. And out number 1. A game-changing play brought to you by Sharp Aquas LCD TVs, the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. Sharp Aquas, change your TV, change your life, and Blake DeWitt changed this game with a 2-out, 3-run triple in the first inning, and has changed the complexion of this series. As the Dodgers knocked Jamie Moyer around, got 5 in the first. They have led throughout, lead 7-2 with 1 out in the 9th. Strike one.
Going a 90-mile-an-hour slider. Splitter, the ball bottom drops out of it.
Strike 2. We've talked so much about Brad Lidge and how great he's been all year. The Dodgers have a weapon of their own closing games when he gets the chance. Timmy's got a pretty good slider too.
Unhittable. As Joe Torre told us, that one to Burrell, Pat could not hold up. Watch this ball dive away and down. We understand.
I'll rest up tonight and be ready for Game 4 tomorrow. 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, 2 out. Jason Worth, ball 1. Worth hitless tonight, and now just 1 out of 11 in this NLCS. Two hits tonight for Ryan Howard. That's good news for the Phillies. But another frustrating night for Jimmy Rollins, who's now 1 for 13 in this duel with the Dodgers.
That is just uncharacteristic of Jimmy Rollins. Normally he's upbeat. Even after a bad night, you don't see him look that somber.
Worth grounds a base hit through the right side, and game 3 continues. Good piece of hitting by Worth, just stuck the bat out, poked it through the right side, and Phillies will get another at bat. Joe Torre has said that momentum in a postseason series can change with one game. Phillies had all the momentum coming into tonight. The Dodgers will have all of it going into tomorrow night. Should end the night. Baroa. Dodgers win game 3. No errors in this ball game. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Phillies. 7 runs, 10 hits for the Dodgers, who are now down 2-1. The winner is Kuroda. The loser is Jamie Moyer. A game that lasted just under 3 hours, and our Chevrolet player of the game is Hiroki Kuroda. His performance was everything the Dodgers fans had hoped for and then some. Go to worldseries.com/Chevy to score a virtual game ticket for your chance at a VIP trip to next summer's MLB All-Star Game in St. Louis. Let's go down to the field, and here's Ken Rosenthal.
Shane Victorino, your gestures were very clear after Kuroda threw the pitch over your head. Tell us in your words what made you so upset.
Well, I mean, it was a point where, someone was bound to get hit on our team. The way the situation's been, we knocked down Martin twice. We threw behind Brett. I mean, the situation called for it, but, like I said, the one thing is just don't throw it in my head. And that's what I told Russell. I said, the one thing I asked, if you're going to hit me anywhere else. Just don't throw it in my head. That's all I ask. There's nothing more than that. We'll leave it at that, and that's what I told him. I said, if you're going to do it, just throw it, throw it at somewhere else. Just don't throw it in my head. That's all I ask.
Now, after you grounded out, the bench is emptied. What happened?
Nothing. I didn't know what happened. I guess they said Kuroda kept coming over and started saying something. I didn't even pay attention. Like I said, I thought it was squash. I don't know what happened after that. Like I said, to me, it's a point in the game where, a lot of adrenaline, a lot of things going on. Like I said, I forget about it. Just show up tomorrow and get ready to go.
Is it over?
I think it's over. I mean, I squashed it. I mean, like I said, the one thing I asked, if you're going to do something like that, just don't throw it in my head. That's all. It's part of the game. When somebody needs to get hit, but it's just the way things been going. So, like I said, the one thing I asked is just don't throw it in my head. Like I said, I'll squash it. We'll forget about it, and we'll just go on and get ready to play tomorrow.
Shane, thank you.
Come on, Ken.
Back to you.
All right, I'm with Russell Martin, Dodger catcher here. They're playing I Love LA. First, congratulations on the win. Was this a statement game for the Dodgers?
Well, we definitely need this one. Coming home, we were down 2-0 or 0-2, and we needed to win. We needed to get the momentum back, and I think we got it today.
We just heard Shane Victorino say, I expected to be thrown at, just not at my head. Was that a purpose pitch? Did you call it for Kuroda?
Well, he did it on his own, but it wasn't at his head. It was over his head. But they've been going up and tight on us too, and we're just trying to make a statement. I mean, it's baseball. It's part of the game. I mean, we're not headhunters by any means, but when there's a statement to be made, you got to get it done.
Yeah, and Manny Ramirez looked like he was leading the charge. That little incident, you had to hold him back?
Yeah.
Or were you part of the charge?
Manny looked a little more steamed than I was. I was trying to hold him back a little bit because we need that guy on the field.
All right, and obviously tomorrow night, Derek Lowe, what can we expect? And is the other stuff over with for now?
I mean, this game's already over. We got to get ready for tomorrow's game, and Derek Lowe's been tremendous for us. he just got to pitch his game. Sinkers down in the zone and mix some curveballs in there, and we should be all right.
All right, hard work tonight. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Russell Martin. Appreciate it. All right, Joe.
I thought both guys really said all the right things, handled it very well.
Yes, sir.
In the interviews and on the field when it all unfolded. In the end, the Dodgers win it, a final of 7-2. They take game 3. We'll take a break. Come back. The studio on the other side. Dodgers win it.
The Dodgers got beat up in Philly, and they came out fighting tonight in Los Angeles. The Phillies and the Dodgers do battle in Game 4 of the NLCS. That begins tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, in high definition only on Fox. Do battle in Game 4. The Dodgers and Phillies already started mixing it up tonight, guys.
Yeah, Russ Martin has got knocked down a couple of times in this series. Manny got thrown behind him the other night, and so the Dodgers had to retaliate. And I think Kuroda came up big. I mean, he showed something to his teammates right there.
Absolutely. What Chad Billingsley refused to do in Game 2, Hiroki Kuroda took care of it here in Game 3. Got a lot of respect from his teammates. And you know what? I thought everybody handled this very well. I thought the umpires handled it well. Didn't eject anybody. I thought the players, the managers, everybody handled this perfectly.
Well, even Shane... we handled this. That's Kevin Kennedy and Mark Grace. Yes, you may continue now, but you get the feeling that this needed to happen?
Yeah, because, I mean, Shane Victorino knew it was coming. When Manny gets thrown behind him the other day and Chad Billingsley didn't respond, somebody had to respond tonight, especially since Russ Martin got thrown out. Not saying they were trying to hit him, but up and in is up and in, and somebody had to do something. Kuroda stepped up and did it.
And no one was hit, by the way. With all of this activity, no one was hit.
But Shane's right. You don't want to get thrown at the head, and I'm not saying Kuroda tried to throw at the head, but he had to come up and in. He did. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. But as the player said, you know, they're trying to concentrate on winning the ball game.
So we have a whole new series here.
Absolutely. Must win tonight for the Dodgers. Must win again tomorrow for the Dodgers.
All right. The gloves are off for Game 4 of the NLCS. The Dodgers have put up a fight, literally, and they've made their presence felt. This series now stands at 2-1 Phillies. Everyone back at it tomorrow night on Fox, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. As we say goodnight, we say goodbye to Mark Grace, who leaves us until the World Series. Former Dodger Eric Karros in studio. We'll see you. Have a good night.
Promotional consideration paid for by